What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. Hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the debut album from the band Khemmis, entitled Absolution. This is released on 20 Bucks Spin. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Denver, Colorado, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, sludgy, and sombering style of doom metal. This band first broke out into the music world with their self-titled 2013 EP. It was only 3 tracks long, but within those 3 tracks lied some really hard-working, beautifully structured, and very thought-provoking sort of doom metal. Very much reminiscent of the early 90s era of doom metal. Thinking, if you will, maybe the early St. Vitus in some instances. Very beautifully done vocal stylings, very well-structured riffs, just a lot of very memorable things to be heard about this band. And now we have the very first full-length album from Khemmis entitled Absolution. It's 6 tracks, and it clocks in at around 41 minutes in length, and really, this is probably one of the better doom albums to come out in 2015 so far. I mean, from the production value of this album, to the overall songwriting aspects, to the beautiful vocal stylings, there is just a lot to take in with something like this. This is a very well thought out and well planned doom metal record, and it's excuse me, and it shows itself very much upon the opening track, Torn Asunder. You immediately get the kind of ideas and thoughts that a band like Khemmis are bringing to the table with Absolution. And it's very intelligent and smart stuff. I love these guitar riffs. Very beautiful, very soulful stylings when it comes to the riff works. It just comes from the heart. And that's what I love the most about the musicianship of this album, is the fact that these riffs speak to the listener. And they bring in a lot of great riff work, very beautiful solo work, awesome riffs, incredible leads, the heavy doomy parts just work out so well. I mean, you hear it again on songs like Ash, Cinder, Smoke, and then on the track Antediluvian. I mean, just some amazing guitar playing going on in those songs. The bass work is very awesome too, very, very crystal clear, not too clear to the point where it's distracting. You feel a very good and warm bass tone throughout this entire record, and it feels appropriate for this kind of doom metal style. Great bass guitar work all the way throughout. I love the drumming on here. For a doom metal record, I think the drumming pace is very much awesome here. I love the way these drums are played out. I love the slow kind of drum fills and patterns and styles going on with the drums. It really makes for a very intriguing listen. I don't feel that it would put the listener to sleep in any sort of way. I think this drumming is very awesome to listen to, and it keeps things very steady all the way throughout. Very much keeping that doom metal mentality up in check very nicely. And my favorite part of this album is, without question, the vocals. I love the vocal diversity being represented on here. The majority of the album is overtaken by some really beautifully sung vocals, but then you get the growling parts going on. You get some really good mid-range sort of high kind of growls to some lower guttural growls, very booming sounding. But you can understand everything that's being worded and said here. I think it's very beautifully done. I love the vocal variety. I love the delivery of the vocals. I love the singing. It's very powerful, very meaningful. And I think all of that comes to a head on the closing track, The Bereaved, which is probably the longest song on here at about 9 minutes in length. But everything that goes on in that song is just so amazing and so very moving to listen to. I love that aspect of a doom metal record, is when you listen to something and it just moves the listener. It kind of somewhat tugs at your heartstrings. And I believe that with an album like Absolution, Khemmis have really, really done that. They make doom metal that's not only heavy, but it can also be beautiful to listen to as well. I think that they bring in a very memorable debut here. So overall, if you're a fan of doom metal, if you're into traditional doom that has sludgy elements, classic doom metal sounds, Khemmis are a band that are bringing that sort of sound very nicely. And it's somewhat refreshing, because there's always a lot of doom metal bands that do the whole revivalist sort of sound very well, but I think Khemmis add a little bit of their own sort of twist to the doom metal sound, and I think with Absolution they deliver a very memorable debut here. So Ash, Cinder, and Smoke, Serpentine, those are some great songs to check out. The closing track, The Bereaved, is amazing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will link you to the 20 Bucks Spin Bandcamp page where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can buy it digitally, and it is also available physically in Digipack CD and 12-inch vinyl. I will link you to the label web store, and I will also link you to the band's personal store where you can purchase it directly through them. And if they happen to be touring live anywhere near you, make an effort to go check them out, because I'm pretty sure they would bring the house down. So again, the album is Absolution by Khemmis. This is released on 20 Bucks Spin. Go support this, and I'm going to give this a very strong 8.5 out of 10. Very beautifully structured doom, and really a diamond in the rough for this kind of metal style. So if you've happened to have heard this album, let me know what you think of it. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Armijo out.